Hi, I'm Dave Blanchard, the editorial director of Business Finance Magazine. I'm talking to Scott Brennan, North America Practice Director for the Enterprise Performance Management Practice within Accenture's Finance and Performance Management service line. Today, we're going to be discussing a recent Accenture Oracle study on financial reporting. So good morning, Scott. Let's begin by looking at one of the findings in the study. According to your research, investments made by companies to improve their financial reporting have not been very successful. Now, the study indicates that more investments are needed, but can you explain what companies should do to ensure that they make the right investments in the future?
That's a great question because the study showed that 82% of companies have made substantial investments in the financial reporting and close process over the last 5 years, and another 80+% plan to make investments in the next 5 years. So it's a clear indication from the data that the investments that companies are making are not bearing the fruit that they wanted. And in addition, the research showed that 22% of companies miss internal financial reporting deadlines. And in addition to that, 15% of the companies reported that they've missed external deadlines, which is just horrible. And that's one of the biggest thing that shakes investor confidence and shakes internal confidence. So what we're recommending our clients do is take a more holistic approach to addressing the issue of financial reporting. They really need to look at issues with their processes. They need to look at issues with their organization structure, and they need to look at the issues with their underlying systems and data, and then integrating the technology to bring it all together. Too often, Dave, we see companies looking at just a little piece of it. They're trying to solve this piecemeal, and what we see the high-performing companies do, those that invest and then bear the fruits out of this, is they look at the process holistically.
Thanks, Scott. So let's drill down a little bit further. What are the key measurable benefits for companies that are ahead of the curve in terms of investing in the right tools and integrating these applications within broader enterprise performance management initiatives?
Now, another great question. We see several areas of benefits that companies who do this right are able to achieve. I think one of the obvious benefits is in staff time. We're seeing companies measurably reduce the days of the close and reduce overtime during the close. So, reducing staff time, reducing overtime certainly frees up time, not necessarily to have reductions in force, but to channel that energy and channel that time towards analysis of what can we do to improve results next quarter? What can we do to improve results next month? So improved use of staff time is one, but I think other benefits will include improved cost management. So if companies have the right ability to do the analysis and the time to do it, they're going to identify cost leakage in their organization, or they're going to identify revenue opportunities. So using that analytical time to attack costs and improve revenues is a big benefit. And then the third thing I would say we've seen, Dave, is that if companies are actually missing external reporting deadlines, they're shaking investor confidence, and that can have an impact on their market cap. So I think a third benefit, and it might actually be the largest benefit, is the ability to improve investor confidence, to explain the results in the dimensions of their business, and drive increases in their market cap by being on top of the issues, on top of the data, and on top of where they have revenue opportunities and cost opportunities in the future.
Okay, let's talk about then what tangible steps can companies take to improve their record to report process?
Yep, so this is related to the first question, Dave, but it really goes back to taking a holistic approach. And I would say it starts with looking at what are the right measures, metrics, and reports for their industry. When you talk about improving the close and financial reporting, we've seen companies are producing too much. They're not focusing enough on the key drivers of their business. So, for instance, we recently helped a company go from over 3,000 standard reports during their close process to less than 300. So just that focus helps improve the process. So if they can get down to what are the right measures and metrics, that reduces time and reconciliation, data gathering, data analytics, but it also improves focus on what should we be measuring and monitoring. So, looking at the right measures and metrics, and then adding to that, looking at how do I then use the entire process, including target setting, forecasting, aggregating data, roles and responsibilities in my organization. So taking that holistic view, and then finally looking at, okay, do I have the right integrated technology from transaction capture in the ERP layer to how I then aggregate, consolidate, eliminate in the EPM layer, and then report out through EPM and BI-like tools.
Thank you, Scott. We've been talking with Scott Brennan with Accenture. For Business Finance, I'm Dave Blanchard.